Hello Tarot Tribe, welcome back to the channel. Today we are getting into a review of this brand new Sacred She Tarot deck by Deva Padma. I just received this deck in the mail the other day and I could not wait to share it with you guys. So if you're joining in for the first time, welcome to Moon Arrow Tarot. We usually start, we'll talk about the packaging, we're going to get inside, see what comes with this tarot deck, and then we're going to talk about the integrity of the cards and get into a flip through. And finally, we will finish up with pulling a card and reading that card out of the guidebook so that you guys can get a feel for how a card is interpreted in the book and how it's broken down and kind of what that entry in a guidebook includes for one of the cards. So if you're just interested in the flip through and you really just want to see what these cards look like, feel free to zoom to the end. I have down below in the description for you guys all of the timestamps as the video is broken up. Also down in the description below, you will find information if you are interested in this deck for yourself. You'll find information about the author, illustrator, as well as the publishing company where you can purchase it. So guys, with that, let's get into this deck. Talking about the packaging, we have a really big, firm, sturdy cardboard box. It has a magnetic closure on the side here. Very nice. It's one of those nice thick packaging boxes for a card deck. The reason why this is so big, we will get into that once we open it up and see what comes inside. I'm sure some of you can probably already guess. But on the outside, the finish is kind of like it's smooth. I feel like it's this kind of hybrid of a rose petal and smooth matte finish, but feels very nice to the touch. Talking about some of the aesthetics, we have a very, very intricate design here on the front. And this is actually a depiction of one of the cards from the deck. So we'll see that once we get into our flip through. So we have this very elaborate and intricate design. And beneath that, we have the title of the deck, the Sacred She Tarot. Beneath that, it states it is a deck and guidebook. And it says a universal guide to the heart of being. And then, of course, the author, Deva Padma, below. And it also makes mention that she is also the creator of the Osho Zen Tarot and the Tao Oracle, both of which I have, both of which I really enjoy. I especially love the Tao Oracle. On the left and right sides, we have mirrored images of, again, the name or title of the deck. Some imagery here separating the title and the creator's name again. And then over here we have what looks to be the publisher, Beyond Words, and Atria Paperback. And then, like I said, the same is on the right hand side. Top and bottom are different. So on the top of the box, we have the Sacred She Tarot and the creator's name. On the bottom, we have our barcode, which is kind of nicely concealed and hidden. It's not thrown on the back of the box like a lot of them are. And then we have some copyright information down below on the bottom. This is where it mentions that it is 78 cards and that the guidebook is 232 pages. And then again, we have the mention of the publishers. On the back of the box, we have some card imagery from the deck portrayed now. And from top to bottom, it reads, includes 78 cards and a 232-page guidebook. The card imagery here that is depicted, I will try to make this out for you guys. We have number 11, Imagination. It is blue, so it looks like that would be from Water or Cups suit. And then green, Earth, Pentacles. We have 1, Roots, so that's the Ace. Purple is Spirit, and that symbolizes the major arcana. 0 is beginning or full. Then we have number 14 for red, which is Fire or Wands, for integrity. And I believe 14 represents the kings. And then gray or swords or air. We have the 4 of air or swords. And so the 4 of swords is depicted as rest. And beneath that it reads, with every breath that we are taking, so goes the world that is our making. Beneath that it reads, from world-renowned tarot artist and authority, Deva Padma, the Sacred She Tarot deck and guidebook is your guide through the transition out of an exhausted old world order into the heart of being. Presented in a traditional format of 78 stunningly illustrated cards, this deck focuses on universal themes by replacing the major and minor arcana with the suits of spirit, earth, fire, air, and water, and incorporating reflective quotes from contemporary visionaries and wisdom keepers. Tarot adepts and beginners alike will find the Sacred She Tarot to be a valuable divination tool and a conduit of understanding. Lovingly crafted to encourage balance, introspection, and psychological and spiritual growth for all genders and walks of life, this deck will help you tune in to new insights and self-awareness. The Sacred She is here, and she is within everyone. And then below we have more information on the publisher and website. As I did state earlier, that information is below in the description for you all. So with that, let's get inside this box and talk about the rest of the packaging. And in the meantime, I will pull out what we've got. So inside of the box, we have a kind of paper cardstock insert here that you can pull out. And I noticed that when maybe I won't pull that out because it seems a bit finicky and like I may not be able to get it back in there. They must have problems getting these in. I've noticed this on other packaging Oracle deck boxes too. When they do this kind of packaging to accommodate a large guidebook, some of these end up getting torn, probably because they're hastily putting them in here trying to get this stuff packaged in the warehouse and get it out. So keep that in mind. Not my favorite type of packaging, but still take it over a tuck box any day. On the inside here, you can see that magnetic closure flap, and then obviously it is covered in this kind of like magenta or fuchsia paper inside. On the, I guess the only side of the box that was covered by the magnetic closure, we just have a continuation of this deep purple paper over top of the cardboard box. So when we take a look at what we have inside, the first thing we come across is our guidebook, and it's big. This is the reason why this box is so huge. On the front, now it does look different than the outside of our box. We have that deep purple background on the book cover, and it is smooth. The finish is smooth, like a rose petal velvety finish, very lovely to touch. Nice botanicals here, flowers, and very indicative of kind of symbolism that we're seeing on the front of the box. We have a globe, what looks to be, this green goddess, some water flowing butterfly, and an image of what the backs of the cards look like. And so we have the title of the deck, the Sacred She Tarot Guidebook, a universal guide to the heart of being, the creator's name, and again, that she is the creator of the Osho Zen Tarot and the Tao Oracle. Taking a look here, you can see that it is a nicely thickly bound book, good quality there. Taking a look at our spine, nothing is written on the spine. We just have a continuation imagery of those botanicals and florals and butterfly there on the front, and that also does continue over to the back of the book. And on the back it reads, "Come with me, you are me. We cannot separated be. This journey is both yours and mine. May we rise and soar outside of time. With every breath that we are taking, so goes the world that is our making." I'm assuming that is written by Deva Padma, the creator, but it doesn't specifically note that. So I don't know if that indeed is those are her words. That is her poem, I'm not sure, but it is beautiful. At the bottom, we have the publisher name notations again. Okay, so getting inside the guidebook, have our title page here, some notations. We have our table of contents. So we've got a special acknowledgments section, the introduction, of course, about the contributors of this deck working with the Sacred She, and then it breaks down for the cards themselves, their interpretations into the suits. So we have the suit of spirit, which of course is the major arcana, the suit of earth, or our pentacles, the suit of fire, which is our wands, the suit of air, which is our swords, and then the suit of water, which is our cups. The next area is a selection of spreads. So we have a be here now, me and you, heaven and earth balancing harmony, diamond clarity, the elemental star of well-being, and the Sacred She variation of the Celtic cross. And then there's more information about the creator in the back. And we'll see if there's another, wow, okay, yeah. There are additional pages in the table of contents that she's actually going in and breaking down each card page by page, which I find that to be much appreciated. Also in the back we have more information on contributors, sources and permissions, glossary of symbolism, and splendid books, so perhaps recommended reads there. And then finishing up with the Suit of Water. So here are that's the special acknowledgements. I did want to give you guys, I'm not going to read the introduction this time because it is pretty lengthy, but I wanted to get to the spreads for you guys. I think that was actually in the back after the cards. Yeah. So we've got our selection of spreads here. So the Be Here Now spread is a single card pull. The Me and You is a 2-card pull. The Heaven and Earth Balancing Harmony is a 3-card spread. Diamond Clarity is 4. The Elemental Star of Well-Being is a 5-card spread, going in with that pentagram symbolism. And then the Sacred She variation of the Celtic cross. So we have the 10 cards here, but I believe what the placements are is possibly what changes. This classic Celtic cross layout is given a new spin. This is a 10-card spread. Calm your mind while holding the deck, invite insight. Shuffle the cards, cut the deck 3 times, reassemble, then spread the cards. Draw 10 cards, placing them in order shown. Keep the cards face down until all 10 are drawn. Turn the cards face up in the same order they were drawn. Take in the images, colors, and card titles, and note any emotions or intuition that arises upon first impact. Card 1 is the present, the issue. Card 2, the challenge. This card is placed diagonally or horizontally across card 1. It is blocking, protecting, or supporting clarity about your issue. Card 3, what is unseen, a subconscious or hidden influence impacting the issue. Card 4, a likely direction, a development based upon the influences of cards 1 through 3. Card 5 is a past pattern, reveals a habit, root effect, or trigger impacting the situation. Card 6 is the goal, what you are striving for. Card 7 is advice, guidance regarding your present attitude to the issue. Card 8, beyond your control, external influences that are part of a bigger picture. Card 9, your hopes and fears, expectations and doubts regarding the issue. And card 10 is conclusion, overview of the inner and outer circumstances taken as a whole. And so that is the spreads that are included in this book. And at the back, we have more information about the creator. I saw a mention in here of Richard Alpert or Ram Dass. So possibly an influence. It's a special thanks to him. And then, of course, we have additional contributors there in the back. It looks like for each card, actually. So I'm not sure if these are people who have actually, well, we will read it. Contributor sources and permissions. Numerous friends, mentors, and kindred spirits have generously given permission to be quoted in this book. Other quotes were sourced from the works of contemporary luminaries. To learn more about these inspiring and generous souls, please visit thesacredshetarot.com. So these actually may be people who contributed to entries within the book for each card, possibly the quotes that are included for each card there at the bottom. So yeah. It looks like there is somebody in here for each and every card. So that's pretty incredible. There's also a glossary in the back if you're looking up certain wording, symbolism, animals, objects. That can be pretty helpful. And then, of course, some recommended book reads in the back. One thing that I did want to mention here, pulling to any page for a card interpretation. We do have a full image, a full visual of the card. It just is not in color. They are all black and white in the book. the number of the card, the name or word, the key word, the title of the card itself. And then on the second page, we have something here at the bottom that says RWS and then THH. And this is indicative of the Rider-Waite-Smith card that this coincides with, or the card from the Thoth deck that this coincides with. And this is because every card in this deck has been renamed into something else. So while it does follow traditional Rider-Waite-Smith outlines, the cards are very different in terms of what they are called and referred to. And so it's kind of nice to have that reference on each page so that you know, and ironically this is the Page of Cups, but so that you know what traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card that coincides with. And then at the bottom of the page, it lets us know that it is water, and then it reiterates the name of that card itself, which is kind of nice if you're flipping through this and you're just looking at pages there at the bottom and you can actually see the name of the card. So that's really clever, and it's actually really helpful for navigating this book more quickly if there's one specific card that you're trying to find. So that is our guidebook, and like I said, we will get into that at the end once we do our flip through. But first, let's talk about the integrity of the cards. So this is how our card deck is packaged inside the box. It's actually in a tuck box within this cardboard box. And from what we can see here, it is, you know, almost an exact replication of the outside of the main box. We have that same collage, highly detailed image with the sunflower in the background, and the it looks like the sacred she of the tarot, the title of the tarot, and it reads A Universal Guide to the Heart of Being, as we have on here. And then of course the creator's name and information at the bottom. On the left and right sides of this tuck box, it is mirrored: title, creator, publisher. And the overall color of this tuck box is like this kind of hunter or deep teal green. On the back, we have that same image that's on the front of our guidebook here, the globe, and then that goddess with some of the floral foliage imagery there. And then the top and bottom are just blank with that teal green coloration. So let's get the box open and we'll take a look at the integrity of our cards here. First, as you can see, the back of the cards, we have a really interesting image of what looks to be a moon, and kind of like this watery or ethereal appearance to it. Has a textured effect, but it is not textured. Very unique, and it is fully reversible. So if that is something that can kind of be a deal breaker for you with tarot cards, if they're not fully reversible, this one is. The finish on these is, it feels like a smooth matte, but it also has a bit of a buttery, a buttery finish to it. So it does feel very nice. Not a highly, how do I want to describe that? It's not like it has resistance though. Like it still feels smooth, but I can definitely feel a bit of that rose petal finish in there. So very nice and smooth feel, but not overly so. The card themselves, they feel a little thin. Definitely not your thicker cardstock. It is thin, but I think with that kind of silicone, that soft rose petal finish, it gives it some elasticity and a little bit more, I think it adds a layer of thickness to it, but it really gives it this nice flexible feel without, it doesn't feel cheap though. And I think it's because of that finish. It just, they go together really well. For the thickness of the cardstock and the finish that they chose to go with it, I think is really nice. And as you can see, like the thickness of the deck, it looks like we have this kind of odd separation, but the thickness, pretty standard. It must be how these cards are printed, but you can kind of see this natural separation in them. down the center of the deck. So until they get used and they're shuffled, but this is brand new, so I have not used this deck yet. I will say, looks like there may be some machine marks on this deck. I see a little line here and there. I was very excited to get this deck, but I think after I had kind of done my own look through with the book, I've decided not to keep this deck for my own personal reasons. But I did just notice that the cards themselves have some machine marks there. So be mindful of that. If I believe I ordered mine on Amazon. So if you end up getting yours from there, just do kind of like a quality control check and see if your cards are in good condition. So with that, let's grab a couple of these cards and take a look at the shuffle for my riffle shufflers. Some bendability there. They hold that shape a bit. So let's talk about the bounce back and the remoldability. They bounce back pretty well, really well actually, almost too well. But yeah, it looks like they retain their shape and they will bounce back beautifully. And our hand over hand, you just, with any deck, at once you get the air separating in between, there might be a little bit of resistance, quite possibly due to that finish. But I think with time, working with them enough and getting that air in between, kind of breaking up that static stickiness, that they should be good. My corgi shufflers, they're gonna have a little resistance to them for corgi shufflers. So you gonna have to put in a little bit more effort to get these guys moving around on the table. Just a heads up on that. And then holding these in the hand, which I didn't do. Pretty standard, typical standard size of a tarot deck. Yeah. And as you've probably already seen, the edges are not gilded with anything. It's just a raw white paper edge there. And because the imagery on the cards is edge to edge, you will see some of those color variations coming through along the edges. But yeah, you can see that separation from the printing or cutting of the cards, it must have been done in batches, to where one half of the deck was done and then another half of the deck was done, because it keeps wanting to separate pretty naturally there. All right, with that, I think we're good to go. Let's get into our flip through. And I'm gonna zoom in for you guys just to make sure that you can see the details within these cards. So let's do that. That should be good. All right, so like I said with this deck, every card, while it still follows the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith in terms of all of the cards that are in the deck, each one is named something different now. And the whole major arcana is kind of a suit of itself. They're all depicted with the color purple and referred to as the suit of spirit. So starting with beginning as the Fool. And number 1, Alchemy for Magician. 2, the Unknowable for the High Priestess. Number 3, Mother Nature for the Empress. And this is the image that we see on the front of the box. Next we have number 4 for the Emperor, but this time it is Order. Number 5, Wisdom Keeper instead of the Hierophant. And number 6 is Love instead of the Lovers. Number 7, the Turning Point instead of the Chariot, sorry. Number 8 is Compassion instead of Strength. Number 9 is Solitude instead of the Hermit. It's a lovely card. Number 10 is change instead of Wheel of Fortune. Number 11 is balancing instead of justice. 12 is waking up instead of the Hanged Man. Number 13 is transitioning instead of death. Number 14 is karma instead of temperance. Number 15 is repression instead of the devil. Number 16 is crisis in place of the tower. Number 17 is understanding in place of the star. 18 is anxiety in place of the moon. Number 19 is joy in place of the sun. 20 is liberation in place of judgment. And finishing up the suit of spirit, we have wisdom, number 21, in place of the world. Now getting into our first traditional elemental suit of earth, or as traditionally we know it to be pentacles or coins. We have the ace, or the one, as roots of earth in place of Ace of Pentacles. Next we have 2, be here now, in place of 2 of Pentacles. 3, we have cooperation in place of the 3 of Pentacles. Next we have 4 as consuming instead of the 4 of Pentacles. Next is 5 as perseverance for the 5 of Pentacles. 6 is generosity in place of 6 of Pentacles. 7 of earth is timing in place of the 7 of Pentacles. The 8 of earth is labor of love in place of the 8 of Pentacles. And 9 of earth is satisfaction for the 9 of Pentacles. And the 10 of earth is privilege. And moving into our court cards, we've got now the numbers continue on. So the page is represented by an 11, and that is honesty. So 11 of earth is honesty, or the Page of Pentacles. The 12 is the Knight. So the 12 of earth represented with explore, or the Knight of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is 13 of earth for support. The King of Pentacles here is the 14 of earth as respect. And that wraps up our suit of earth. Next, we have our suit of fire with the 1 of fire as inspiration, or the Ace of Wands. Next is the 2 of fire with focus. The 3 of fire with refresh. The 4 of fire is dance, or the 4 of wands. Next is the 5 of fire with competition. We have the 6 of fire with triumph. 7 of fire with adaptability. The 8 of fire is self-confidence. And then the 9 of fire with resistance. And the 10 of fire is overload. Moving into our court cards, we have 11 of fire as self-expression, which traditionally would be the Page of Wands. The 12 of fire is intention, which would be the Knight of Wands. The 13 of fire is spontaneity, traditionally would be the Queen of Wands. And finally, we have the 14 of fire as integrity, or the King of Wands. Moving into the next suit of air, we have the 1 of air as clarity, or the Ace of Swords. Next is the 2 of air as restraint, or the 2 of Swords. 3 of air as heartbreak. 4 of air for rest. The 5 of air is arrogance, or the 5 of Swords. Next we have the 6 of air for departure. The 7 of air as deception. The 8 of air for blame. The 9 of air is fear. And the 10 of air is grief. Moving into our court cards for the suit of air, we have 11 of air as scrutiny, or the Page of Swords. Next is the 12 of air with determination, or the Knight of air, or I'm sorry, the Knight of Swords. 12 of air, determination. Next is 13 of air with perfection, or the Queen of Swords. And finally, we have 14 of air with power, or the King of Swords. And finally, moving into our last suit of water, we have 1 of water with flow, symbolized as the Ace of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite. Next, we have the 2 of air with union. 2 of water with union. Third, we have the 3 of water with harmony, or traditionally the 3 of cups. Next is 4 of water with frozen. We have the 5 of water with disappointment. The 6 of water is passion, or traditionally the 6 of cups. The 7 of water is choices. The 8 of water is separation. The 9 of water is indulgence, or the 9 of cups. The 10 of water with gratitude. And finally, moving into our court cards for the suit of water, we have 11 of water for imagination, or the Page of Cups. The 12 of water with Voyager, or the Knight of Cups. 13 of water with intuition, or the Queen of Cups. And lastly, we have 14 of water with Dream Weaver, or the King of Cups. And so there is our walkthrough, our flip through of all of these cards from the Sacred She Tarot, all of that imagery that is very unique to this deck. Definitely sets it apart from any other deck. So I'm going to pull a random card here and keep it pretty simple. So we have the 2 of Earth, or the 2 of Pentacles with Be Here Now. And so take a look. pull that up here in the book. And like I said, we have down below, pretty easy to find things within the book. So here's our Earth and our Be Here Now card. And lay that out for us. I want to make sure that this isn't too zoomed in for you guys. So the way we have the cards laid out in here, as I said, we do have a visual representation. It just is not in color, but you could very easily hold on to your card there as you read through the book. And at the top, we do have the number of the card, the title of the card, Be Here Now, and then I will read through. It looks like we don't have any depictions or differentiation between upright and reversal. That's not represented in here. But we do have a lot of wording, I think, describing this overall card. So we'll get into that. And then it looks like there are some quotes or kind of additional takeaway at the end that we'll read in italics there. So for Two of Earth, Be Here Now, it reads, living a yes to life means accepting that sorrow and pain are counterparts to joy and pleasure. Evading this reality keeps us hoping that fulfillment is possible while denying the nature of existence. And when that doesn't work, as it cannot in the very nature of things, we foolishly wonder, why me? Our minds love to ping-pong between memory and fantasy, between scenarios that are alternately yummy, upsetting, fearful, marvelous. Like a dog with a favorite bone, we dig up our past for yet another chew, utterly unaware of the living, breathing, and tail-wagging experience of now. By neglecting what each moment offers, we sleepwalk, bump into life, and get shocked when it hurts. Yet what is imagined, dreamed, and believed is just a fraction of the truth of what is, and far less important than turning the attention of the one who is lost in thoughts to the present. This isn't to say we should negate what was, deny nostalgia, or forsake all dreams of the future. By all means, go there. But maintain awareness of your present self when digging into the past for material to project imagined futures. Being here now accepts the eternal and ever-changing present. A subtle and profound healing awareness lies within the simplicity of living this and now this. And then going into reading the italics below, I am struck by the delightfully fierce pulling of my attention into the present that my Luna the pooch brings to every moment we are together, and how remarkable a gift to have an animal friend teach about being present during these most difficult times when the mind easily slips into revisiting the past and or jumping madly into an imagined future. And then, like I said, here at the bottom of the page, we have the representation of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith would be the Two of Pentacles, and then in the Thoth deck we have the Two of Discs, which represents change. And then in the lower right corner for the Sacred She, we have Earth, which is number 2, Be Here Now. So I hope that that was helpful. This is just our single card pull to give you guys an idea of how the book is laid out for each interpretation, how the card portrayal is designed, and what kind of information you'd be getting out of that when you look up your cards. So this was number 2, Be Here Now, which is the Two of Pentacles in the traditional Rider-Waite, the green being symbolized in the Sacred She Tarot as the suit of Earth. So guys, with that, that is our deep dive into the Sacred She Tarot. I hope that this has been helpful for you all if you're on the fence or considering acquiring this new tarot deck. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and if you are considering getting this deck, why, what draws you to it, what do you like about it, and I thank you all for being here. Like I said, I hope that this was enjoyable, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Have a great day, guys.